listening to the Channeling JT podcast. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Today, we have a special treat for you, a very special person in my life. I've known her for years, and I'm so excited that she is doing this journey with us. Her name is Cindy England. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Cindy graduated from UMass Amherst with a degree in mathematics and began her career as a software developer. Sound familiar to me. Throughout her 25-year corporate career, she reinvented herself numerous times, becoming an instructor, webmaster, marketing and communication specialist, manager, and mentor. And when she wasn't doing all of that and raising a family, she was dedicated to practicing yoga. When the pandemic hit in 2020, Cindy had left her corporate job and was working on reinventing herself again. She got certified as a yoga instructor and began diving into her spiritual studies, creating what she says was her own little mystical master's program. For the first time in her life, she was finally able to implement a consistent daily meditation practice. She attended several of my trainings, as well as a few workshops with Lee Harris. And with a lot of practice, she taught herself how to channel her spirit guides. She says she never would have thought she too would be channeling JT one day, and says that JT is one of her biggest supporters. Her team of divine helpers have been encouraging her to step into her purpose in a big way. And with their guidance, she launched her online business this past February. Congratulations, Cindy. Cindy does channeled intuitive readings with her spirit guides, as well as Akashic record readings and medium readings. She is also a Reiki master healer. And she says she never saw any of this coming. Welcome to the program, Cindy. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you, Serena. It's always such a pleasure to connect with you. And I want to start just by thanking both you and JT for inspiring me with your incredible story and for being my mentors, you in the physical plane and JT from the astral plane. So you've not only inspired me, but you've also taught me how to tap into my own intuitive gifts, which has been just an incredible resource for me. So I'm very grateful. The messages that I get from my guides are always such a high frequency, so supportive and loving. And it's just been so wonderful to be able to tap into this for myself. So it's a blessing for sure. So I thank you for your support in getting me here.
Oh my gosh, you are a natural, absolutely a natural. I do want to find out some information about you. You know, you and I reconnected just in the past year, I feel. Her children went to the same school as my children did way back when in California. And it's amazing that we were able to reconnect and on this spiritual level. Definitely. It's just been incredible to see. What do you think your motivation was to hone your psychic abilities, and how did you go about doing that?
So I've always believed in a higher power. I've always believed there's something else at play in our lives and feel like I've had strong intuition. And I knew, you got to trust your gut and there's this inner guidance system going on, but I really didn't fully understand that, that little gut feeling that I always had or that little voice in my head was actually divine guidance. I couldn't really appreciate that until recently. But I've always been, someone who's wondered, like, what happens when we die and where does our soul go when it leaves its body? And I know we reincarnate, but how does that all work, right? So I've always been interested in those big questions, but I never really had time to study it because I was just so busy working and raising a family. So I used the extra time during the pandemic, we're stuck at home, can't really go out.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, I can read, I can take workshops. And so I used the time to just really roll up my sleeves and study all things of the mystical nature and took a few workshops, including your classes. And also for the first time in my life, had the time and space to meditate every day. I've always wanted to, I used to get 5 minutes at the end of yoga class, but I never really had the time and space to dedicate towards meditation. And doing that, of course, as you know, is really key to being able to connect. And so I think the combination of me having the time and space and just really studying is how I, got on the path. And I actually first started when you launched JT's Oracle cards. So I got his cards and I thought, okay, this is going to be my tool. I'm going to
Yay.
and the first time I did the card reading, I got this card. I think it was creativity. And then I did another one and I got the same card. And then I did another one and I got the same card. And I did 6 readings and I got the same card. And I thought, okay, JT, I'm a creator. I get it. I get it. What do you want me to create here? Right? Like that was so clear that he was trying to help me create something. So he made me laugh. And then I realized, oh my gosh, like he's really trying to encourage me to do something here. So as I was learning to use the cards, I slowly started getting like more informational messages that were really full of golden nuggets, like really great inspirational guidance. And so I thought, gosh, I'm going to try doing this for other people and see what happens. And so I started practicing with family and friends just to kind of see if things would come through that would be helpful for them. And I got a lot of really good feedback. And so that made me excited. And I thought, oh gosh, this is so cool. People would be like, how did you know that? I didn't even really even ask you that. And you answered a question I didn't even ask, but was on my mind. And so I just thought I tapped into something. And then one day, JT said to me in one of my channeled readings that I was doing with him, he said, Cindy, you don't need the cards anymore. You are a clear channel. The cards are just a vehicle. You don't need them. You need to start stepping into this and doing these readings for people. So it took me a while to like build my confidence. I definitely had to ease myself into it. And of course, you have to practice discerning, what's coming from source and what's coming from my, thinking mind.
So
But
true.
with time and practice, I eventually got there. But it's a practice. It takes a while. So I finally got there. I never in a million years would have thought I'd be doing this. If you had asked me 5 years ago, what's your 5-year plan? I never would have put psychic medium or energy intuitive on my resume. I just wouldn't have seen it coming. But I'm just following the breadcrumbs and they have been guiding me on this path. And so I'm just trying to be a good student.
I love that. And that is totally the phrase that I used when JT was guiding me to my gifts was just following the breadcrumbs because boy, does he drop them for us, doesn't he?
Yeah, all you have to do is ask, and boom, there they are.
Yes.
Here's the next step to take. And he always reminds me baby steps. It doesn't have to be this big leap, but just to follow one step at a time. And it's a very slow, gradual process. So it doesn't need to be overwhelming or scary. It's just they give you the next step when you're ready for it. So
Yes.
really nice.
That is very true. And I know that as you move along, you discover new things about yourself, you discover new things that you can do for people. What do you feel right now that you love most about doing this work?
Honestly, the best part is just one, being able to connect with this high frequency because it just feels so good to be in that high frequency energy where it's just such love and compassion and support, but really being able to offer that to others, to be able to tap into this incredible wisdom and guidance and being able to support others on their path. I mean, it's like having this mentor in your back pocket that anytime you have a challenge or you need help with something, you just pull it out, there it is, and you ask them a question and they've got an answer for you. So there's no like, they don't have to get to know you. They just know who you are at a soul level. They know what you need to know in that moment. They know what your lessons are. And boom, they are just right there giving you the informational nuggets, the divine guidance that you need, like exactly perfectly in that moment, and always presented in the most loving and supportive package. It's just so beautiful. I mean, literally, some of the messages and readings I've done have had people in tears. They just are so blown away.
Wow.
Just the loving energy that it comes through with. It's like that, your favorite first grade teacher that just was that big hug that was like, I've got you, you're good, you're going to be okay, I'm going to help you. It has that feeling to it that, they're up there, they're out there around us to guide us
Yes.
and help us. That's their job, right? And so we just have to know that they're there and ask for their guidance, and boom, they are like right there, ready to help. So being able to do that for others, it just feels like such a gift to be able to share that.
True. True, true, true. Definitely. I know that's what drives me. That's what
Yeah, it's just
makes me move forward is being able to help people. So that is really
absolutely,
wonderful. Now,
absolutely.
I know that you also studied Reiki with me, which was just so fun. We had so much fun doing that. Are you still practicing Reiki
I
today?
Yes, actually, the Reiki class really even increased my psychic abilities even more. So it was really like propelled me forward. So the same time I was honing in my psychic skills and really getting confidence with my channeling and really trusting the messages that were coming through, I also felt divinely guided to take your Reiki training. I was reading your newsletter one day. I clicked on the button. I signed up. I don't even really remember signing up. I said, I told my husband, I just signed up for Reiki. He's like, you signed up for what? I didn't even know you were thinking about that. And I said, I didn't know I was thinking about it either, but I just felt like I was supposed to do it. So I signed up. It really didn't make sense to me in the moment, other than I was just trying to learn as much as I could learn. But boy, the experience I've had with it is was just amazing. I have a great story to share, and it's just also crystal clear why I was led to take that training. So the day after I received my Reiki certificate in the mail, my sister called me literally the day after I got the certificate. She called me to tell me she had a tumor on her ovary and she thought she had cancer. And I
Oh
thought, oh
no.
my God. So we cried for a minute, had a little poor me. Oh my God, what do we do? And then we took a deep breath. And I said, I'm going to be there with you by your side every step of the way. And then, of course, this thought popped into my head from the divine, from someone, one of my guides. And they said, you know what, Cindy, you need to practice Reiki. Serena said you got to practice every day, and Hillary needs healing. So you guys need to start Reiki. So I said, Hillary, let's start Reiki tomorrow morning. Call in sick this week. Don't go to work. Let's do Reiki every morning. We'll get on Zoom because she lives in Boston and I live in California. So we got on Zoom and we started Reiki every single morning. And we said, let's just see what happens. It can't hurt you, right? So we dove in, and what a journey we embarked on together. It was unbelievable. So, as you know, in Reiki, you use your hands to scan a person's body. And I would put my hands over her ovary where I knew the tumor was. And I would get these intuitive message that said, it's coming out, the cancer's coming out. And then my hands would be guided up to her heart chakra. So no matter what
Wow.
I did with my hands wanted to be on her heart chakra. Like that was so clear. That's where the healing was needed. So that's where most of my work was done, was in her heart chakra. And so it turns out that my sister carried a lot of trapped emotions, old wounds, emotional baggage, things she didn't even know she was carrying. And one thing came up that she's like, oh, yeah, I forgot that happened when I was 7. I didn't even know I still had that in me, and we were just layer by layer pulling up all of these things that she was holding on to. Her energy field was just really, really dark and kind of heavy. And so layer by layer by layer, we pulled these things out. And the biggest lesson, the biggest message of all was that she really didn't take care of herself well. She didn't practice self-care. She was that mom that had, she has the most amazing children, the most beautiful home, and she's always taking care of everybody else to the point where she never had any time or energy left to take care of herself. So self-care was missing in her life. And that was the biggest message the Reiki guides gave us, is you've got to take care of yourself. So she spent the last 6 months taking care of herself in a big way, focusing on the cancer. And so the guide said, this is her wake-up call. She's got to change the way she's living, and she's got to practice more self-care. So we did this Reiki, gosh, for months. As she was going through chemo, she did decide to go through chemo. And in the process, as we were releasing this dark energy from her energetic body, her energy was getting lighter and brighter and brighter. And she had a spiritual awakening during the process, which was
Oh,
just
wow.
so beautiful. I mean, she was just glowing. She would go in and people would see her bald head and they'd want to go, oh, I'm so sorry. And she's like, no, I'm great. Like, I'm fine. Like, I'm the best I've ever been. And she just felt so good. And she was honestly like happier than she had been in years. So she had quite the transformation. But the cool part of the story was she had surgery in February. They did a full hysterectomy. They took out a bunch of lymph nodes and they biopsied everything. And the doctor sat her down and they said, you know, your case is a bit of a medical mystery to us. They said, much to our surprise, there was no cancer in your ovary. And
Oh my
we
gosh.
were expecting that. And she was like, oh, okay. She said, but we did find cancer inside your fallopian tube, which is kind of where ovarian cancer often starts. And they said, but your fallopian tube was sealed off like a sausage and the cancer was completely contained. And
Oh
we've
my
never seen
gosh.
that before. Like, we've never seen that before. She goes, we don't catch ovarian cancer this early before. Like, it just doesn't happen. So she goes, the good news is we feel really confident we got it all out because it was so well contained. And so my sister and I'm like, this is wild. So of course that night I channel my guides and I'm like, okay, guides, I need a bigger explanation of what really happened here from your perspective, because I mean, no cancer, like what happened? So the message I got, this is what they said to me. There actually was cancer in her ovary and we cleared it. That was the first place we started because it was the biggest threat to the cancer spreading. So we got rid of it right away. Then we sealed off her fallopian tube. Yes, that was our doing. We did this so that the cancer would be completely contained. We knew the surgery was scheduled and that the doctors were going to take it out. This is why we kept telling you in your Reiki sessions, it's coming out. The cancer's coming out. So, dear one, you helped clear cancer from your sister's cells. And I went, oh
Oh my gosh.
God, like I really couldn't breathe. I gasped for air. And I was like, I started to cry. And then the next thing they told me was, we know this is hard for you to digest, but this is the truth of the matter. And I'm like, oh my God, I can barely breathe. Here I am, my first Reiki client, like, and this is happening. So I knew Reiki was powerful. I knew we had the power to heal ourselves, but I can clear cancer. Like, whoa, this blew me away. So the next day, and that was my birthday that I channeled that message. So the next morning I woke up and I was like, okay, I need more information. Like, like, are you sure? So I channel again. And the next day they told me, can you not see how divinely orchestrated this all was? Your sister needed a big wake up call to change her way, and that worked. And we wanted you to knock it out of the park with your very first Reiki client so that you'd feel called to do this work and become a Reiki practitioner. We orchestrated all of this and it worked. You both got exactly what you needed. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are,
Wow.
this is crazy. The whole experience was like just so incredibly transformative and really just set me on the motion. It lit the fire in me. Oh my gosh, I've got to do this work. I've got to help people. It feels like a calling, and I just feel more aligned in purpose than I ever have before. I can't not do this. Like, I just feel so called to do this work.
That is a phenomenal story. I love that. Thank you
Woo.
so much for sharing that because that's how it happens, right? I mean, that is how it happens. These are, we call them miracles, but really it's just it's just the divine stepping in and saying, "Okay, yeah, you got the message. So, yeah, we're done with that.
Yep, here you go. On to the next thing,
Go on to the next thing." Right, exactly. I would like to know what advice you would give others about tapping into their own divine guidance since you have just mastered this so well.
Thank you. Well, as you know, we're all intuitive and we all have psychic abilities. So I'm not special. I'm just like everybody else. I just worked at it a little bit, right? So we all have this ability within us. We all have the ability to heal ourselves. It's really available to any of us. I'd say if there are two things for me at least that were the most important. One is meditation. You have to meditate regularly. As you've taught me, meditation is the key to connection. If you cannot clear your thinking mind, get your thinking mind out of the way, which I always say to people, you can't connect. It prevents you from connecting. I always tell people you're not going to get there by thinking about it too much. It's not about thinking about it too much. It's about feeling into it and allowing it to flow to you versus searching and reaching for it. And it's the reverse of how
Absolutely.
people are operating, right? I mean, we're always going after things, we're making things happen, and we have to do the reverse. We have to allow it to come. So it's a real big shift. And then the second thing, of course, is trust. Learning to trust your intuition and trust that what you're receiving is actually divine guidance. And I would say that was probably my biggest hurdle. I spent a lot of time doubting myself, wondering if that was just from my mind or is that really from my guides. And I probably have 20 messages where I channeled the word trust in uppercase with 4 exclamation points, like, you need to trust. This is really us. And then of course you helped me confirm, nope, JT's confirming you've got this. You're a good channel. You've got this. And so I was able to discern, what's coming from my thinking mind and what's coming from source. So I got there eventually, but it does just require dedication and work. But if you're willing to go for it, I mean, anyone can do this, honestly, as you know, right?
Yes, definitely.
Time.
Yeah. Good. Yes. I love that. I love the advice because that is exactly what I tell people too. It's very important to trust. That's a big one. Trust what you're receiving and just get out of your way.
Yes, that's your own way. That's a big one for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. I know that our listeners would love to know more about you, learn about you, sign up for sessions with you. How can our listeners do that? What's your website? How can they sign up for a session? Go ahead and give us your info.
Yeah, so I have a website where you can learn about me. I can also book a session or just even contact me with a question if you have one. And my website's just Cindy England, my name, -divineguidance.com. So pretty straightforward. So yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff. I have a few videos that I've recorded, some channeled messages. I also have a Facebook group with the same name, Cindy England, Divine Guidance. And I do a lot of the channeled messages I get, if they're applicable to people or sort of for the general public, then I will put those on my Facebook page as well. So
Perfect.
yeah,
Awesome. Great. And just to remember that hyphen there, right?
yeah,
So Cindy England, no space, and then hyphen divine guidance, no space.com.
correct.
Good.
No,
And I'm
that,
sure that if they even Googled you, that would come up
please.
also. But we want you to be able to contact Cindy because she is just amazing. Do you have any projects that are in the works right now?
Do. Actually, tonight I'm going to do a group reading for a ladies' night here in town, which should be fun. There's something, as you know, so wonderful and sacred about a woman's circle. So I'm thrilled
Yes.
to offer them. And most of my readings have been over Zoom because of COVID. Not that Zoom isn't great. I mean, I did Reiki over Zoom with my sister, but it'll be nice to do that in person. So I'm looking forward to doing a group reading. I've always held that vision, like someday I want to do girls' nights. I think that would be so fun. So excited to do that tonight. And then the other thing I'm hoping to launch in the next few weeks is I want to start doing soul contract readings where
Oh,
the
that's
focus
wonderful.
of the reading is about your soul contract. And as our soul self created a contract when we chose to incarnate. We agreed we were going to come here, work on certain lessons, have certain experiences in this life to propel our growth and evolution. And I have found using the Akashic records that knowing what my soul self wanted to learn and accomplish in this lifetime was super helpful. Like suddenly when
Totally.
challenges would come up, I'd be like, here's another chance to learn that lesson. Oh, look, the universe is giving me another chance to practice responding better, right? Or what do we all have stuff? We all have things we're here to learn. And
Yes.
so it just really helps you give your life a different perspective. And it also allows you to evaluate, how am I doing? Am I learning what I set out to learn? Or am I stuck repeating old patterns over and over and over again? So I really find that bird's eye view where you're kind of zooming out and going, okay, this is what you came into this body to learn, really helps kind of set you on your path with more clarity. So you can live on purpose, right? And really, really,
Yes.
really accomplish what you came here to accomplish.
That is
So,
certainly JT's mission,
yeah,
definitely to help all of us get there. So I'm so excited that you're going to be offering those sessions. That is just wonderful.
excited for that. Yeah, it should be fun.
We are so happy that you were able to spend some time with us today, Cindy. Thank you so very much. And I know JT is doing his little happy dance and saying, "Yay, we're getting her out there. We need her to help more people." So thank you for picking that up, for catching the clues. And because I know some of the time, sometimes it's just so darn subtle, right? So
Yeah.
you had to pick them up and you had to say, okay, what am I going to do with this? And just so happy for you. And it's just so wonderful to see how you have more than blossomed over the last year.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you for your support in this journey. And I'm honored to be on the spiritual path with you and JT. So I'm grateful.
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah, if it wasn't for
I agree.
JT. Thank you so much, Cindy. And again, the website is Cindy England divineguidance.com.
Correct.
Excellent. Great. I know that people want to connect with you. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Serena. It was great talking to you today.
And we will talk to all of you next time. And in the meantime, JT says, be true to yourself. You are the only one who knows what is right and true for you. So be sure to take JT's advice. See you next time.